ladies. How's everyone doing? All right, so I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. And we have a special treat today. We have Lieutenant Mahalia Davey. She's a chaplain in the National Guard. She's coming here today. So we're going to talk about spiritual wellness, healing, and so I want to thank you for definitely being here today to present this very wonderful topic.
Yeah.
And you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Well, good morning, ladies, all in the room and everyone online. I'm so happy to be here. And thank you, Liz. Thank you, Jody. Holly's not here, but thank you, everybody, a part of production that allowed this event to come on, right? That's awesome. And I love what you guys do. Operation Sisterhood, right? We're on a mission to bring sisters together. I love that because we spend so much time, and we can be honest. Can I be honest for a second? We spend so much time criticizing each other, judging each other, comparing ourselves to one another. We do it with our friends, our family, our co-workers. But I love what you guys do because we're trying to get rid of that. We're on this operation to bring this sisterhood together. And I love that because I'm all about that. But guess what? If you want to have a sisterhood, it starts with you. It starts with you, your heart, your mind. And it might sound a little preachy, but you can't help that when you're a traveler. So please overlook that. I'm not preaching to you. I'm not speaking religion to you. But we are going to talk about wellness, and that's something that's big in the society, mental health, wellness, and we're going to tackle that a little bit today. Because our spiritual wellness is very, very important because it's about you. And you have to take care of you before you could take care of anyone else in this world. And our spiritual wellness is the foundation of who we are. And really, actually, our principles, our values, and our beliefs are the foundation of who we are. What we believe determines our actions, right? Our behaviors. What our principles are can ultimately lead to our purpose, right? Some of you are on this line in this room because you have principles. You said you're going to live your life a certain way, and it led you here. Your principles can lead you to your destiny. Your values can lead you to you. What you believe can ultimately benefit yourself and benefit others. It's so important that we remember that we have to deal with the foundation of ourselves, which is our principles, our values, and our beliefs. And when we do that, we can live a well life. When I think about a well, I think about water that just runs freely, right? Just fluidly. And that's what we want our life to be. We want it to be like a well, right? We want our life to be prosperous, right? How many of you think about this? When you plant a seed in the ground, right? Say an apple tree. You don't plant it hoping, I hope it has 2 apples on it, right? You don't do that. But you say, I hope it has an abundant amount of apples on it, right? And that happens when you take care of the seed. You put it in good soil, right? You water it, you position it, and you get it the sunlight, and guess what? It's going to grow. And it's not going to produce 2 apples. Nobody expects that, but they expect abundance. Just think about what would happen if you took care of you. Sometimes we just I just want to produce 2 apples in my life and I'm satisfied. I'm sorry, but that's low level thinking. And we're trying to think at a higher level here. We want to be prosperous. We want to be abundant. And we do that by focusing on our spiritual wellness, building our beliefs, our values, and our principles. So I'm so excited for today. I'm very passionate about this type of topic because it's all about the person. And we don't get to focus on the people as much as we need to, right? So what you see on the screen is a definition of what spiritual wellness is. It's maintaining and enhancing meaning of life by living according to one's beliefs, values, and principles, right? So like I said, guys, it is all about purpose, right? When you understand your beliefs, your values, and your principles, you can live out your purpose. We all have a purpose on this earth. Nothing and no one is by accident. You're not an accident. Your life doesn't stop because you get out the military. Actually, I was just talking to Liz about this. It just starts. And you guys know that because of everything you're doing. But sometimes we can forget about that. There's a core of us, and it's the thing that drives us, and that's our purpose. And that comes from our beliefs, our values, and our principle. Meaning of life really has somebody ask themselves this question: What makes life worth living? Have you ever asked yourself that question? What makes life worth living? You're not going to be able to answer that question if you don't begin to think about what you believe, what you value, what your principles are, meaning of life, meaning what's the purpose of this thing? And the great thing about being human is we're all creators. We can create our own purpose. We can create our own destiny. We can add value to ourselves and in return, add that value to other people. But you have to figure out for yourself, what makes my life worth living? What do I believe? What do I value? What are my principles? Let's go to the next slide. So what you ladies see here is this very fun game. I played it. A lot of people play it, families play it, and it's called Jenga, right? And what Jenga really means is to build. That's what Jenga means. Jenga means to build something up, right? And it's an idea, as you see, you arrange the blocks, right, in a tower, in an arrangement. And what happens is players, what they do is they try to gently remove the piece of blocks to avoid the tower from collapsing, right? That's the objective of the game. So ultimately, the person who knocks the tower over is the loser. But it's fun because everybody gets frantic. It's like, oh my gosh, the tower's knocked over, the blocks are, everybody's having fun. But listen, guys, you know, I want to pull you guys in right now because it's fun because ultimately it's a game. That's why it's fun. But when it's a metaphor for life, it's sobering. Just think about if one thing got removed from your life and everything came crashing down. That's not fun anymore. That's not fascinating, right? That's frightful. And sometimes life can be like that. Sometimes one thing can get pulled from under you and it feels like everything is collapsing. And I believe COVID-19, that was something that we all experienced together. Life just kind of collapsed, right? It just kind of fell. And it was like that one block was pulled from under us and everything just changed rapidly. And we all experienced that together. But the thing about Jenga is the reason why everything was able to fall and collapse was because it didn't have a sturdy foundation. The foundation was not sturdy. See, if Jenga had a sturdy foundation, it wouldn't be able to collapse so easily. And we have to think about our lives like that too. Just when one calamity comes and our lives seem to fall apart, we have to go back and look at our foundation, our spiritual wellness, our beliefs, our values, and our principles. Just because one thing happens that shifts the dynamic of our life, should our whole life collapse? And how do we allow our lives to remain strong? We do that by focusing on our beliefs, our values, and our principles. We have to focus on the meaning of life, what makes life worth living. And when we do that, one piece, when it gets pulled, everything doesn't fall down because we know we have a sturdy foundation. Let's go to the next slide. So why is meaning of life support important? Why is spiritual wellness support important? Why is beliefs, values, and principles, why are these things important? Because meaning of life helps sustain life. It gives you your why. Suicide is high in the military and it's high in our nation right now. And sometimes as adults, we neglect the fact that it's high among us. We always say teens are the ones dealing with suicide, but sometimes it's us who question our life. But when we know our meaning of life, when we identify our beliefs, our values, and our principles, it helps sustain us. It's our fuel that helps us keep going. When that one thing falls or gets taken from us, we have our purpose. We have our principles. We have our values. And that one thing can't affect us because I have a greater why. That's what your beliefs and your values and your principles do. They give you that greater why. So no longer job loss will hurt us, unproductive relationships and different things that come at us because we have a why. And yes, those things may disappoint us, right? But it will never deter us from our destiny because we know who we truly are. And COVID-19, like I said, was that one thing that disrupted our why. Many people questioned life during that time. What am I in to do, right? I know me, I'm a people person. Love people, love going to church. That was shut down. I gotta be on Zoom. I can't touch you. I can't talk to you. I'm going crazy over here, right? You know, some people had to be at home with their husbands. Can we be honest? They never did that before. They like that 9 to 5. That's a cushion. That's a cushion for comfort, right? Just to be honest, life shifted. And you had to be like, why am I even in this relationship? Why am I even in this job? Do I even like you? I mean, listen, you guys, I told you I was going to be honest. But we need that. That's what sisterhood is, right? But we have to remember our why, our beliefs, our values, and our principles, they help sustain our life, right? It fuels us. It's life or death. What you believe is life or death. Many people commit suicide every day because they don't know why they're here. They don't know what they believe. They don't value themselves enough to live. They don't have principles. It's life-saving and it's life-sustaining, right? Let's go to the next slide. So what you see on the screen right here are some spiritual sources. Pew Research actually conducted a study where they identified where Americans find their meaning of life, right? So I have blocks up there, kind of like Jenga, right? And the list above are the results from the survey. Most Americans find their meaning of life from these spiritual sources right here. That's what I call them, spiritual sources. Because once again, we're talking about spiritual wellness. So they say America, they find their meaning of life in their faith, their music, family, reading, friends, travel, jobs, serving, education, fitness, nature, and money. This is what this survey said. Now, we all know that's dependent upon demographic, population, and those different factors. But in Pew Research, they said this is where most Americans find their meaning in life. And they do these things to practice spiritual wellness and foster purpose, right? We do these things so we can have good spiritual health, good well-being, good wellness, right? So they may listen to music to relax them, right? Hang out with family and friends to have that community, right? Read a book to build their mind, right? They love their job. They may put their identity in their job, right? Or they may put their identity in their education. I'm a doctor, I'm a lawyer. They have these titles, you have these statuses, right? They may put their identity in their body, right? That feeds them. That's a spiritual source, right? They may say, oh, I'm healthy, I do fitness, right? And they put their identity in their image, right? And these aren't bad things, right? You need to be fit to be healthy, right? Education helps you help others, right? Nothing's wrong with these spiritual sources. But the truth is, back to COVID-19 and back to our Jenga analogy, what happened in COVID-19 is some of these things got taken from us. And some people question who they were. Some people traveled all the time, right? They're always on Instagram, TikTok, traveling. What happens when the one thing you're known as gets taken away from you? Who are you, right? What happens when you really lean on your family, but society says you guys have to social distance? Who are you, right? What happens when gyms are closed down and you can't go to the gym? What's your meaning of life? What do you value? What are your principles? What is going to sustain you? These spiritual sources here are not bad things, but they're bad when we live our life on them because they can be taken from you. So you can't live your life according to things that can be easily taken from you. You have to have a sturdy foundation, right? So these are just blocks that can be pulled from you like Jenga. You might like traveling, but guess what? That can be taken from you, right? You might like fitness, but guess what? You can grow older and you may not be as healthy as you once were. Now, is your identity in your fitness? Does that sustain you? Is that who you are, right? Money comes and goes. It's momentary, You can have a hardship in life. If you place your value in these things, who are you? When society says, nope, going to take that away. And that's what I want us to start thinking about. Like I said, these things aren't negative. They're great things. They help our wellness. But is this what we build our life off of? And that's what you have to ask yourself. So what you see here is you see this tower here. And this is the spiritual formation model. And this is just an idea to get us thinking how we can build our life from the ground up, right? Jenga, everything collapsed, right? Now we have to rebuild. We identified that the reason why Jenga allows the players to lose is because it doesn't have a sturdy foundation. What we're trying to do is get our foundation sturdy again. So what we have to do is start with our base. We want to start with things that can't be easily removed. Now, faith was a spiritual source that Americans actually helped them and produce wellness in them. That's not a bad thing to build your spiritual foundation on. But some of those other things were risky. So I think a good base for our spiritual formation model would be our beliefs and our faith, right? Your faith is something that can't necessarily be taken away from you easily. Your values, right? And we'll get into that a little later. And then your principles. And once you have that foundation for your life, for your Jenga tower, then you can start adding these other spiritual sources that if they get removed, you're not as easily affected because that's not the foundation of who you are, right? So that's just the tower right there, but we'll go deeper into that in the next slide, okay? So right now we're going to talk about building our base. And once again, this is about our beliefs, our principles, and our values, right? So what you want to do is start thinking about what you believe, right? What you ultimately place your trust in. That's what you believe, right? So people can place their trust in many things. You can place your trust in God, if that's what you believe, or whatever religion you ascribe to. You can place your trust, honestly, in yourself. Some people only rely on themselves. Some people rely on the government. Some people rely on the military. That's the only thing they place their trust in. That's what our beliefs are, right? And then you go to your principle, right? These are things that govern our behavior. They're laws of life, rules and ethos that we live our life off of, right? It's what a person stands on. It's like our morality comes from this, right? It governs our behavior. That's what our principles are. And then we go to the values. It's a part of a person that you can't necessarily see, but you notice it through their behavior and their characteristics, right? It's like the character of who a person is. That's what your values are. And these are all good things to live your life on. So what we can see on the screen is just an example, right? Beliefs. It's what you place your trust in, and it's what you place your confidence in, right? So an example of this is, if I'm thankful, life will be enjoyable, right? If I believe that and I live my life like that, I will go around giving thanks, and guess what? I have joy now. And what about a principle? A principle of that would be, I will always show thankfulness in my actions and my deeds. No matter where I go, who I'm interacting with, I'm always honoring them. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Jody. And I'm happy, right? Because I see the value in everything, right? And then a virtue is I'm thankful. I identify as a thankful person. That's who I am, right? And if we build our life on these things, we're not going to be able to collapse easily, right? No matter where I am, I can give thanks, right? Right in this room, I'm happy, I'm joyful, I'm with beautiful women, right? You guys online, and that's just who I am, and you can't take that from me, right? We could be in a 5-star restaurant, or we could be down at the mom and pop shop. I'm thankful. That's who you are, and that's what you want to build your life on, okay? All right, so now we're going to get into adding our blocks. So now that we have a good base, right? I have identified how we can build our life, our identity off of. We don't build our identity off our possessions, right? It's off of what we believe, right? So now you can start adding these blocks. So now you can start adding your faith, which can also be a foundation, like I said. Music, if you love music, that can be a part of who you are. If that makes you calm, if that makes you well, that adds value to your meaning of life, you can start adding those things. Traveling, right? Education, right? You can start serving more, whatever it is that makes your life well, that enhances your wellness. After you have a strong base, a strong foundation for who you are, then you can start adding these spiritual sources. Once again, we want to make sure we have a strong foundation, right? Because we don't want one thing to be taken from us, and now we're frantic. We don't know who we are. We don't know why we're here. And now we're having some mental health problems, and we're going to need to seek help. And I know some of us may have that today, and we don't want to talk about it. But I encourage you, if you're struggling with mental health, if your life has collapsed, seek out a counselor, a therapist, a chaplain, whoever it is you're close to. Talk to somebody. Because the thing is, life happens, ladies. It happens to all of us. Some of you may have walked in with some things you're carrying, and you're just want to lay it out on the table. Find somebody who you can be vulnerable with, right? That when life collapses, that you can lean on them when you're not strong. And we all know that song, but sometimes it's real life. Sometimes you really need to lean on somebody, and we need to be that for each other. All right. So we're getting close to the end. We're getting close to the end. And then I have some questions. And then from there, we're done. So for me, COVID-19 hit me hard. I love to travel. You know, Mahalia is on the island. That's just what's gonna be. Whether it's Bahamas, St. Thomas, Jamaica, I'm there. I love to travel because I love people. I love meeting people from all over the world. And I have so much more I need to do. I need to travel so many more places. Like I haven't even scratched the surface yet. When COVID happened, this is my lovely sister. We were just in the house. Oh my goodness, we were trying to occupy ourselves. We're like, we can't go anywhere. We were stressed out. But we began to like do things that we enjoyed. And, you know, COVID wasn't as bad for us, thank the Lord, right? But then I realized I can't place all my identity in traveling, all my love in traveling, because it got taken away. And I was distraught, right? I'm over here on YouTube looking up travel videos. I was doing all stuff. I was trying to make sure I was traveling. I did everything I could do to travel, right? But then I realized there's something deeper in me that I value than traveling. It's not just traveling. And I realized that COVID revealed to me that was just the surface, right? I was doing that for recreation, but there was a part of me that was attached to something deeper. And really, I'm a humanitarian. I love people. I identified that. The reason why you like to travel, because you like to go out and help, inspire, and encourage others. Because that's what I do. I can't be anywhere without the Lord saying, all right, give this person a good word. I can't do it. It's like almost impossible, right? So God just showed me you're a humanitarian. That's what you place your value in, not in traveling. And you can do that anywhere, right? And a principle to that is I will always seek to understand people who are different from me and treat them with kindness and generosity. I can do that in Walmart with a mask. I can travel to Walmart in my car. That's still traveling, right? And you can still help people, right? It's a deeper meaning. See, we do things, but we don't understand the depth of what we're really doing. But when we really understand the depth of who we are, it doesn't matter what we do. It doesn't matter what's taken from us because it's inside us. It's in our inner self, our spiritual self, right? And then I have a belief. If everyone assisted their fellow, hardship would cease to exist. No matter where I am, if I choose to help somebody, open a door for them, give them the extra $5 they need at the register, just give them a good word. You know, that's being a humanitarian. That's helping somebody, right? And at my core, I'm not just a girl who likes to travel. I'm truly a humanitarian who loves people. And when you start thinking about your values and your principles, you understand that some of the things you enjoy are just surface level and you're just doing them robotically because you think that's what you like. But there's really a deeper meaning to that. And for me, I realized, yes, I love to travel. And I'm going to continue to do that. And I think I'm going to go to the Bahamas in January. But it's deeper than that, ladies. It's deeper. So I want you guys to begin to think about who you are. And we have reached the end, but I want to leave you guys with something. Beliefs, values, and principles are our base. And when we have a strong base, we can build a strong, meaningful life. We can build a strong, meaningful life, ladies, when we know our values, our beliefs, and our principles. It's deeper than just our interests. It's our intuitive self. Tap into who you truly are so you can experience the joy of life. Figure out who you are. What's the character of me? And show that to everyone in the world. I want you to know this, ladies. When you know your values, you know you. There's so many lost people in this world, and they're lost for various reasons. But I think the foundation of it is they don't know their values or what they should value. And I believe when we begin to know our values or our virtues, we begin to know ourselves, right? And another last thing I want to leave you with is life may be able to take a block. It will. It will happen. They took my block. They took my travel. But it will never steal your base. It will never take the foundation of who you are. But it's up to you to build your own base. Nobody can build it for you. It's up to you to build the foundation of who you are. We all come from different backgrounds. You may say, well, I grew up in this household. I grew up in this city. I wasn't taught this. The great thing about being human is we're all creators. We can start fresh, right? Just like a ground, right? You see buildings and things, they tear it down, right? They plow that land and something new can be built right there. And that's how we are. Sometimes we just got to start from ground zero and build from the bottom up. And I feel like COVID-19 gave us a great reset. And we can reset right now. Today, you can leave this, log off, and say, I'm going to start building the foundation of who I am. So once again, thank you so much, ladies. I enjoyed this. I had so much fun. And I know after this,